Welcome to today's webinar, Most Frequently Asked Questions Answered by Dlubal Support Team. Our monthly webinar about often asked questions via telephone or email. It's a short webinar about between 30 and 40 minutes, I think. My name is Andreas Hörold. I'm responsible for marketing and public relations in the company Dlubal Software. I've been working for 12 years in the company. I'm responsible for the website, for example, the German and English webinars, customer projects, and so on. I will be the moderator and presenter today. My colleague, Markus Baumgartel, will support me, but he can introduce himself.
Hello, my name is Markus Baumgartel. I am responsible for customer support and frequently asked questions on our website. And today I will help my colleague Andreas to answer your questions during this webinar.
Okay, thank you for your introduction. Maybe an additional information. 2 days ago, Markus presented the same webinar in German. And now I will do it in English. He will answer the questions, and you can ask questions via the control panel that you can see on the right side of your screen. You can enter a short question here, and Markus will answer you. If you don't get an answer during the webinar because there are too many, you will get an email afterwards. The other way is to watch the entire webinar and then email your questions to info@dlubal.com. Okay, then we turn to the program, and I've got here an empty model or an empty file. And the first question is, how can I construct a perpendicular? I have to close my webcam that you can see the full screen. I think it's okay now. I read the question again. How can I construct a perpendicular connection to a line and a tangent to an arc in RFEM? I switch the view to Z direction and I enter some lines here. This one, for example, and this one. And if I want to create a new line from the middle to perpendicular to that one, I have to change the line size that it works better. Okay, then I'm not in the grid. The middle from this line and perpendicular to this line, and that doesn't work. It snaps the middle of the line, but I want to create a line perpendicular. So another task is a tangent. I create a circle and want to draw a tangent here. And that doesn't work as well. That's why I open the guide objects in the navigator data, here left, the navigator data. Then object snaps standard. The other possibility is to right click on the object snap here and edit. And you turn to the same dialog. That's the same dialog, the standard setting for the object snap. And if you check the perpendicular, for example, tangent, and the circle quadrants, and press OK and set active, then it should work. So I create the line again from the middle and perpendicular to that line. That works. Now the tangent, I start here and can draw a tangent. And also a circle quadrant. So from here to here. So also this works. Okay, that's all for this question. The next question is, can I use the undo feature to select a specific editing date or state? Yeah, that's the undo button. It works as usual, and the redo button. But if you click on that arrow and open that drop-down menu, you can select or choose any state. First state and the last state on that arrow. Okay. And under the settings, here, options, program settings, or program options. And here under that settings, you can define the maximum number of steps for the undo feature. You can decrease or increase it as you want. The default setting is 150. Okay, that should be all to this question. I switch the model to a canopy. Yeah, and the question is it possible to create a user-defined coordinate system? You can see the current coordinate system, and if you want to move a coordinate system in the roof of the canopy, you can see the roof is inclined. Yeah, and I can show you how to create a user-defined coordinate system that also is inclined. So again, in the navigator data, you can find the coordinate systems. And if I right click, I can edit it and add a new coordinate system. And can do an offset, 3 points, 2 points and angel, point and 3 angels. I select 3 points. And I have to select the 3 points. Okay. And I apply it with OK and set active. So you can see the coordinate system is rotated, and I can switch the view, or I can change the work plane to UV. And now it's UVW. And you can see now it lies in the plane of the roof. And I can create a new member, for example. In that area, and also those members are inclined. And you can also use the view cube to change the views. Okay. So that should be all to that model. No, to that question. The next question is, how can I modify the ultimate stresses for material for stress analysis? So let me delete 2 members. And I activate here right above in the base data. I activate the stress strain analysis. So, and the limit of stresses is to be configured in the member configurations for the stress strain calculation. You can do that in different ways. You can double click on such a member, or you can go in the navigator data. You can see the stress strain analysis is activated, and you can find the member configurations here. You can double click on default, or I double click on one member. Where is the dialog stress strain analysis configuration? And you can see also the default configuration. It's the same as here at the bottom left. Okay, I can edit the member configurations. For example, for the sigma x my, I can create or define a user-defined limit stress. For example, 240 Newton per square millimeters. Okay, I leave the dialog. Then in the table at the bottom, I select the stress strain analysis and calculate all. And now you can see the multi-core processing. They work in parallel, and you get a quite quick calculation. So, okay, let's take a look at the table. You can see my user-defined limit here, the 240 Newton per square millimeters, and the other limit stresses. Okay, then we turn to the next question that we often got. Why do I get an error message when I define a line support on members? Okay, let's try that. I changed the model here. Just a moment, I delete the nodal supports. So, take it a little bit. So I changed to the wireframe model. So the member and the bracings and that point. And now I create a line support. Here, left above, assign line support on that line. Okay. And I define it in X, Y, and Z direction. Okay. And I calculate all. Or I can only calculate the self-weight load case. And I should get an error message. Yeah, that's the problem. Line supports only work on lines that belong to the surface or solid, not on members. We have to find a different way, but yeah, we have a different way. I show you just a moment. I double click on the member, select support, and I create a member support. Create new member support. I check the X, Y, and Z direction again and calculate all. Okay, that works. Another possibility is to add a load transfer surface. Then you can also create a line support. As I said, line supports work on surface or solid. How to do that? I delete the member support and create a new surface with the stiffness type load transfer. It has got no stiffness, but you can enter loads on that surface, can define the direction, that the load transfers the surface transfers the load to the edges, to the members, for example, or to the line supports on the edge. Okay, but that's not interesting in our model. You can see also as a load that I created before, and if you create a load transfer surface here, I can switch to the transparent model, for example, and now you can create a line support on that line. Okay. And I calculate the self-weight load case again. Okay, that works. And you can see the reactions graphically. For example, only in Z direction, and the resultant here in the middle. In that case, only for the self-weight load case, but it works for the other load cases and combinations as well. So we turn to the next model and the next question. Just a moment, surface. And the question is, can I divide a floor slab into several areas with different surface thicknesses without having to re-enter all surfaces? Yes, that's possible. We can use the function divide surface with intersection lines. At first, I create the new surface or the edges of the surface. I switch to the set view. I didn't prepare any support for the surface, but imagine you calculated that floor slab, and under the column where it would be better to have a thicker floor slab. So how to do that? I create the new lines, or so I use the grid. Okay. So, and now I right-click on the surface and use the function divide surface with intersection lines. And now we've got two surfaces, the smaller and the old surface. So, and if I double click on that surface, I can define a new thickness. E.g. 500 millimeters. Okay. Let me go in the navigator display and scroll down to rendering, solid model, surfaces, and then field including thickness. You can see the thicker surface. If you want to have the upper side in the same area, you can double click on the surface and define an eccentricity. So I create a new surface eccentricity. And I use the option transverse offset from section of another member of thickness of other surface. So that means if I create that and I change anything later, any thickness, it will be modified automatically. So the thickness assignment is the top of the thicker plate should be as the same or on the same level as the top of that surface. I have to grab it. Okay. The object shouldn't be a member, it should be a surface. Now it should work. Okay. Okay. Yep, that works. The floor slab is now thicker under the column. Okay, then we turn to the next model and the next question. The next question is, in my model with many band members, the coordinate system of the member are not evenly aligned. What can I do to improve this? I changed to the navigator display, and under members, you can activate the member axis systems, and you can see, for example, the Z direction of the member is in that direction and here in that direction. And on the transition, it's constricted, but we can easily align that with, for example, a help node. First, I create a help node here, left above, a new node between two nodes. I select the first point or the first node, then the second node, and apply that with enter, and you can see the help node here. Then I select all members, double click on one member, and define here under member rotation the help node, XZ axis, and I select the node and I apply that. Okay, that worked fine. Now you can see all is okay. Then we turn to the last question. Is the import from Microsoft Access still available in RFEM 6 and RSTAB 9? At first, I show you the export file, export, and where are the tables, Excel tables, but the import is not yet available. At the moment, we will implement that, but at the moment, you have to install an add-in. So let me show you how to do that. Just a moment. So I can show you the website. So, and under support and learning, you find the FAQs. And for example, if you enter Excel here, and if you scroll a little bit down, it's the same question that I read. So, and if you click on more, you can see that you have to search this folder, and I copy that. I have got the version 6.02, and I copy that and entered in my Explorer. Just a moment, I will show that. So that's my Windows Explorer. And you have to press on Setup and install that add-in. I already did it on my computer, and I show you Excel, and under Dlubal you can find the import and export function. And turn back to the model. Before the webinar, I exported the original file to Excel, and now I will import it back. So that's why I go to Excel and press export. For example, the topology, then without loads, imperfections, solids, and surfaces. For the rest is okay. I press the start button, and if we go back to RFEM 6, you can see the original model is creating. Okay, that's the original model. So we can stop that. Okay. The default setting under options and program option is activated by default, but maybe by accident you uncheck that. But that is necessary for the add-in, for the Excel add-in. And for the web service as well, of course. Okay, that should be all. That was the last question. Maybe I turn back to the website that I can show you where you can find the recording. We recorded the webinar, and on dlubal.com under news and events, you can find the webinars. All our webinars are recorded. You can see the next webinars, the seismic design next week, and the tool-based structural design in the week after next week. So that's today's webinar. And in the middle, you will find in the next days the recording and also two of the presented models. If you don't have got RFEM 6 already, you can download our free trial version above, free full trial version of RFEM 6, RSTAB 9, our section 1, our wind. And for example, RFEM 6 that I presented today, it contains all add-ons, and you can try it for 90 days. Okay, that should be all for today's webinar. Thank you for your attention. Thanks to Markus Baumgartel for answering the questions. Maybe a last hint, when you leave the webinar, where is a small survey, it takes only some seconds or a minute to answer some questions. If you don't want to answer a question, just enter a minus also, and you can score us. Just note that the worst score is 1 and the best score is 5. That would be very nice. It's quite important for our quality management. Okay, then thanks again, and have a nice rest of the day. Bye-bye.